Welcome to Greenland. At the edge of the Arctic world lies Greenland, a vast land of ice, silence, and untold stories. This is the world's largest island, where nature still decides the rhythm of life. Greenland rests between the Arctic and Atlantic Oceans, shaped by ice for millions of years. Nearly 80% of this land is locked beneath a massive ice sheet. Yet along its edges, small settlements cling to the rocky coastline. These towns are separated not by roads, but by water, ice, and distance. Mountains rise sharply from the sea, carved by ancient glaciers. Fjords cut deep into the land, forming natural corridors of ice and water. In winter, darkness dominates, while summer brings endless daylight. This extreme contrast defines every moment of life here. Greenland's coastline stretches longer than most countries combined. Icebergs drift silently like moving sculptures shaped by time. The ocean here remains cold, powerful, and unpredictable. Despite the harshness, life has learned to adapt. Every settlement tells a story of survival and balance. Transportation depends on boats, helicopters, and frozen paths. There are no highways connecting these distant communities. Nature remains untouched across vast stretches of land. Silence here feels deep, almost physical. This land was shaped by ice long before humans arrived. Even today, ice continues to shape Greenland's future. From above, Greenland appears endless and untouched. Clouds move quickly across open Arctic skies. Weather here can change within minutes. Cold winds carve the land into sharp forms. Each season reveals a different face of Greenland. Even the smallest plants must fight to survive. Life here exists in quiet harmony with nature. Greenland's scale is difficult to truly understand. This land challenges everything we know about distance and time. Here, nature speaks louder than cities ever could. Greenland remains one of Earth's last true frontiers. Beauty feels raw, powerful, and honest. Every journey here begins with respect for the land, Greenland invites patience, not speed. This is not a place to conquer, but to understand. The land remains unchanged even as the world moves faster. And Greenland stands as a reminder of Earth's true scale. This is where our story begins, a journey into ice, people, and time itself. Long before borders existed, this land was already shaped by time and ice. Greenland's story begins not with people, but with powerful natural forces. Ice sheets advanced and retreated, quietly shaping the land over thousands of years. Human presence arrived much later, following the rhythm. Indigenous Arctic cultures learned to live with the land, not against it. Every movement, shelter, and tool reflected deep environmental knowledge. Seasons dictated life here, shaping travel, food, and community. Oral traditions preserved history long before written records arrived. Stories passed down through generations kept memory alive in isolation. Centuries later, distant explorers reached Greenland's shores. They arrived curious, cautious, and unprepared for the Arctic scale. Greenland challenged every assumption about settlement and survival. Some communities endured, others vanished without trace. The land remembered everything, even when people disappeared. Trade routes slowly connected Greenland to the wider world, yet isolation always remained Greenland's defining condition. Colonial influence arrived carefully, limited by geography and climate. Administration followed necessity, not ambition. Greenland never became crowded, even as maps filled in. Distance protected traditions while allowing selective change. World events reached Greenland slowly, softened by ice and sea. Modern governance developed with respect for cultural continuity. History here is measured more in generations than dates. Change came gradually, shaped by environment first. Greenland adapted without losing its core identity. The past remains visible in everyday life. Every settlement carries echoes of earlier footsteps. History here is quiet but deeply present. Greenland never rushed toward the future. Instead, it carried its past forward carefully. Time behaves differently in places shaped by ice. Here, endurance became the true measure of progress. History is not displayed, it is lived. Every generation adds a quiet chapter. The land remains the central storyteller. Human history follows where nature allows. Nothing here was built without reason. Greenland's past is written in restraint. It teaches patience through survival and prepares the land for the story still unfolding. Greenland's climate defines every detail of life, shaping the land with quiet authority. Here, weather is not background, it is a constant presence. Winter arrives early and leaves slowly, covering the land in deep silence. Temperatures drop, but life does not disappear. Ice becomes the dominant force, reshaping coastlines and valleys. Frozen surfaces expand and contract with the rhythm of the seasons. Snowfall can last for days, softening every sound. Darkness stretches longer in winter, changing the sense of time, yet even in darkness the land remains awake. When sunlight returns, it does so gently. Spring melts the surface, revealing the land beneath. Water begins to move again, carving fresh paths. Summer in Greenland is brief but intense. Daylight stretches almost endlessly across the sky. Plants grow quickly, taking advantage of every moment. Rivers swell with new energy. Fog often rolls in, blurring distance and scale. Autumn arrives quietly, cooling the land once more. Colors fade as preparation for winter begins again. Storms can appear without warning. Wind reshapes snow into new forms overnight. The ocean remains cold and powerful year-round. Sea ice expands and retreats like a living system. Weather here teaches patience. Nature always sets the terms. Climate influences every decision, every movement. Even modern life follows seasonal limits. Nothing here is rushed by weather. The land moves at its own pace. Climate becomes a quiet teacher. Survival depends on understanding patterns. Each season leaves a memory behind. Time feels circular, not linear. The climate shapes culture as much as terrain. Every year begins and ends with ice. Greenland accepts change without resistance. Nature resets itself again and again. Nothing is permanent except adaptation. Climate remains the silent architect of Greenland, and the land continues, shaped by cold, light, and time. Greenland's terrain feels ancient, shaped by forces older than memory. Towering cliffs stand like silent guardians of the land. Deep fjords cut into the earth, carrying ice toward the sea. These waterways act as natural pathways through the wilderness. Rock formations rise in unexpected shapes, sculpted by time. Some landscapes feel untouched, as if waiting to be discovered. Hidden viewpoints reveal the true scale of the land. Old paths lead toward forgotten places. Historic ruins remain as quiet witnesses to early settlements. These structures blend naturally into the landscape. Some sites overlook valleys once filled with life. Tourists now walk where history once stood still. Observation points offer endless horizons. Every direction reveals a different story. Glaciers dominate the interior like frozen rivers. Ice cliffs rise like natural fortresses. Some places feel carved for silence. Hidden valleys shelter life from the wind. Tourist routes follow nature's design. Waterfalls emerge where ice releases its hold. Rivers carve deep lines through ancient stone. Some landmarks feel almost unreal. Greenland's terrain challenges scale and distance. Every viewpoint offers a new perspective. The land invites exploration without promise. Stone, ice, and water exist in constant balance. Some places feel protected by isolation. Natural formations become landmarks over generations. Paths disappear, but the land remains. Greenland's terrain rewards patience and respect. Each location feels carefully preserved by distance. Nature sets boundaries no map can change. Exploration here means listening to the land. Some places feel timeless. Greenland reveals itself slowly. Every landmark carries quiet power. The terrain invites reflection more than conquest. Here the land speaks without words. Greenland's landscapes leave lasting impressions. This terrain prepares us for the human stories ahead. Along the edges of ice and sea, small communities quietly endure. Homes here are built for resilience, not excess. Color brings warmth to an otherwise silent land. Villages remain small, preserving balance with nature. Paths between homes are simple and familiar. Life moves slower, shaped by daylight and weather. The land remains close, never far from view. Even modern structures adapt to the terrain. Every window frames the wilderness. The sea remains a constant neighbor. Harbors connect villages to the wider world. Homes cluster together for warmth and connection. Winter reshapes everyday life, yet daily routines continue without drama. Community spaces remain modest and essential. Even silence feels shared here. Homes are positioned to face light and shelter. Nature defines the boundaries, not walls. Children grow up with vast horizons. Seasonal light transforms familiar places. The environment teaches patience. Nothing here feels temporary. Life adapts without resisting nature. Paths remain clear even through snow. The village breathes with the land. Daily life unfolds without urgency. Night brings deeper quiet. Artificial light never overwhelms the stars. Homes remain small against the vastness. Community replaces isolation. The land shapes the people who live here. Modern life blends gently into tradition. Nothing feels rushed or forced. Here, comfort comes from familiarity. Villages exist as extensions of the land. Every home carries quiet strength. Life continues without announcement. The land remains the constant presence. Human life here feels intentional. In Greenland, people and place exist as one. Beneath the ice, Greenland holds centuries of history. Early settlements once thrived in these harsh lands. The land remembers those who came before. Churches stand as symbols of endurance. Faith once traveled far to reach this land. Each structure tells a silent story. Greenland's past remains visible, not forgotten. Explorers have once crossed these paths. Time moves differently in these places. Even abandoned spaces feel alive. History blends into the landscape. Some landmarks remain untouched by time. Cultural roots run deep beneath the ice. These places once echoed with daily life. Silence now protects their memory. Greenland's heritage survives without walls. The past and present share the same ground. Weather shapes memory as much as time. Not all stories are written. Some landmarks remain nameless. The land keeps its secrets quietly. Cultural memory survives in stone and earth. Each ruin marks human perseverance. Greenland preserves history without restoration. The land acts as a living archive. Time softens everything except memory. Visitors walk carefully through the past. History here feels untouched. Greenland's story continues beneath the ice. The past fades gently into the present. Nothing here demands attention, yet everything deserves remembrance. Greenland holds its history quietly. Time pauses in these places. The land remains unchanged. Only nature witnesses everything. Human presence fades. Land remains. Silence becomes part of history. History here belongs to the land itself. In Greenland, time leaves no footprints. Life in Greenland survives where few expect it to. Animals adapt to a world shaped by ice and silence. Every movement here conserves energy. Predators move with patience. The land feeds only the resilient. Birds trace ancient migration paths. The skies bring brief moments of motion. Below the surface, life continues unseen. Marine life thrives beneath frozen waters. Seals rest where ice meets sea. Whales pass silently through icy corridors. Their journeys span oceans and centuries. On land, survival follows the seasons. Strength comes from unity. Plants grow low, protected from the wind. Color appears briefly during warmer months. Summer passes quickly in Greenland. Autumn returns the land to quiet tones. Winter restores the dominance of ice. Darkness brings stillness, yet life remains alert. Nature wastes nothing here. Every species has its place. Greenland's wildlife follows ancient rhythms. The land teaches patience. Survival here is quiet, not aggressive. Balance replaces dominance. Nature leads without control. The ecosystem moves as one. Nothing here exists in excess. Life adapts instead of resisting, and the land shapes every creature. Survival here is an art. Each season rewrites the rules. Nature remains the only authority. Wildlife moves without witnesses. Greenland's life endures quietly. Nothing here seeks attention, yet everything here survives. In Greenland, human presence blends quietly into the land. Villages appear small against endless space. Life here adapts to nature, not the other way around. Silence shapes daily routines. Movement happens only when necessary. Traditional tools still serve modern life. Generations learn to work with the cold. The sea remains a source of survival. Food traditions follow the rhythm of seasons. Nothing here is wasted. Culture exists without performance. Warmth is created, not expected. Clothing reflects function before style. Stories are shared without words. The land teaches patience to every generation. Technology arrives carefully here. Modern life does not erase tradition. Balance defines daily choices. The environment remains the main presence. Sound travels farther than people. Winter reshapes every routine. Light becomes a rare companion. Darkness is accepted, not feared. Community replaces noise. Life continues without urgency. Time feels wider here. The land decides the pace. Human presence remains respectful. Nothing competes with nature here. Culture survives by adapting quietly. Traditions remain unspoken but alive. Presence replaces performance. The land remains dominant. Greenland's people belong to the silence. Life continues without announcement. Culture here does not seek attention. It simply exists, and that makes it enduring. Greenland remains unchanged at heart. Here, humanity learns to be quiet. Modern Greenland exists between tradition and change. Development arrives slowly here. Technology connects distant communities. But nature still sets the limits. Climate change leaves visible marks. Ice retreats without sound. The landscape records every shift. Seasons no longer arrive as expected. Communities adapt quietly. Fishing routes change with the ice. Traditional knowledge meets modern planning. Energy solutions emerge carefully. The future is built with restraint. Infrastructure remains minimal by design. Nature remains the dominant force. Weather still decides daily life. Adaptation replaces resistance. Global attention reaches even here. Science listens to the land. Change is observed, not rushed. Modern Greenland balances responsibility. Growth remains controlled. Expansion does not overpower the land. The environment still commands respect. Silence remains intact. Light pollution barely exists. Night reveals the true scale. The future feels distant but present. Greenland moves forward carefully. Change arrives without noise. Decisions are shaped by the land. The future remains open. Nothing here happens suddenly. Patience defines progress. The land continues to lead. Modern life remains secondary. Greenland looks ahead without haste. The future respects the past. Balance remains the priority. Here, progress walks quietly beside nature.